First at 12:30, a Gwinnett County police officer killed in the line of duty, a second in critical condition. The charges the shooting suspect is now facing, plus community reaction.
And we're digging out of the icebox today. Temperatures warming up. We'll talk about how long this thaw will last.
And the federal government is partially shut down for now, with the House holding the key to reopening it. How tensions over the shootings involving ICE agents in Minneapolis could complicate the path forward. Hello and thanks for joining us here on 11Alive Plus at 12:30. I'm Joe Ripley. The suspect accused of killing a Gwinnett County police officer is now charged with murder. 35-year-old Kevin Andrews Jr. of Decatur is also accused of shooting a second police officer. Our Molly Oak has reaction from the community.
Yeah, just one of the notes on the car says, "Rest easy, friend." Bouquet after bouquet have been placed on the police car outside Gwinnett County Police Headquarters this morning as the entire community is remembering the officer we lost yesterday. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation says the suspect is now facing 4 different charges. The GBI is taking on the lead, and the investigation says it happened just before 8 o'clock yesterday morning when 2 officers, Officer Pradeep Tamang and Master Police Officer David Reed, responded to a Holiday Inn off East Park Place Boulevard to investigate a reported credit card theft. The GBI says when officers went in the room and tried to arrest Andrews after officers learned he had an active warrant for failure to appear, Andrews pulled out a gun, shooting both officers and killing Officer Tamang. Now the GBI says Andrews is facing multiple charges, including malice murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. This morning, I spoke with a woman who works on the 911 admin staff and is married to a Gwinnett County police officer. She knows Officer Tamang, saying he was always kind and will be so missed.
Having to see my husband go back out there and do the shift that Tamang was on it's very gut-wrenching and very terrifying. But as a police wife, you kind of sign up for the gut-wrenching and the heart pounding, just hoping that your loved one will come home and hoping that they'll be there at the end of the day and they get to come home and see you and you get to hug them. I think it's just a reminder to hug your loved ones.
This morning we watched as the police officer stepped outside of headquarters and lowered the flag to half staff. It's just a reminder of the solemn feeling that the community has this morning as they're remembering Officer Tamang. I've also watched countless people come by this police car and just lay a hand, put their head down in prayer, and walk on. And that's exactly what the chief is asking for today. The chief and others asking for the community to wrap their arms around the police department and also the families of both officers. At last check, Officer Reed, who was also shot and injured, is still in the hospital in critical condition. Guys.
All right, Molly Oak with that report from Gwinnett County. Right now, the GBI also investigating a shooting involving 2 teens and 2 Clayton County deputies. They tell us this all started Saturday night in Rex when the 2 teens carjacked a woman. 2 deputies located the stolen car and began chasing it until the teens jumped out on Bedford Road. The GBI says one of the deputies fired his weapon when the teens tried to run. One teen was shot, taken to the hospital, and is expected to survive. The second teen was arrested and taken to the Youth Detention Center. No word yet on any charges. Taking a check of our weather impact forecast, meteorologist Melissa Nord joining us. Melissa, it is about time for a warm up, and we're finally getting one.
We finally are, Joe, but I don't have any 70-degree temperatures on the way. But hey, this map already tells the story that we're headed in that right direction. If you are waiting the cold air to leave us, this is our 24-hour temperature change graphic showing that we are running a solid 15 degrees warmer than we were Sunday afternoon at this time. Now, the actual temperatures, they're still a little bit chilly as you step outside, and we're also noticing in places that had snow over the weekend, a lot of that snow is still around because yesterday was only in the mid-30s for high temperatures. Good example of that, our camera in Blue Ridge. Saturday night, this was all a sheet of ice, but the blacktop yesterday absorbed a lot of that heating from the sun and road crews got out there. So that's good. That means that a lot of our roadways are looking okay this morning and afternoon rather, but we're still noticing in shady spots a lot of that snow still on the ground. Also in Athens, you can see blacktop pavement in the sun. We've got the snow melt happening, but in the shade of those trees over campus, there's still a bit of snow left to go. So we're still thawing out this afternoon. We're staying cool. You still need the jackets out there. Currently in Atlanta, 43 degrees. Northwest winds are a bit breezy this afternoon at 10 miles an hour. These numbers climb up hour by hour into the upper 40s today. A couple of us to the south could be close to 50 degrees. We have bright sunshine today, but clouds and rain chances are back tomorrow. We'll time that chance of rain out ahead. Joe?
We'll see you soon. Thanks, Melissa. This afternoon, Atlanta City Council expects to pass legislation recommended by the Edgewood Avenue Safety Task Force. The plan includes new cameras, a possible moratorium on liquor licenses, better signage, and more. 11Alive's Grace King joining us now from the newsroom. Grace, you've covered this task force since the very beginning, since last summer. So what are community members telling you about this plan?
I spoke with Dorothy Hurst, a longtime safety advocate who served on the task force. She told me her work actually started months before the mass shooting last July that left 1 dead and 10 others wounded. At the time, it was just her and a couple of other community volunteers who lived nearby and wanted to improve safety for everyone so businesses, churches, residents could flourish. The shooting prompted a bit more urgency, so they got a lot of buy-in from city leaders. She said they spent months reviewing data from the corridor, including incident reports, calls for service, and more. That's how they came up with short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals.
They can't be accountable if we're not accountable. So with the community working along with the city, we will improve this quarter and it will be a better place for everyone. And that's a promise.
And City Council meets at 1 o'clock this afternoon, where some of those recommendations are on the agenda. It's sponsored by Councilwoman Liliana Bakhtiari, who represents the area. She told me Edgewood Avenue is not unique in the challenges it faces, and that this model could be replicated elsewhere in the city if and when it works.
All right, Grace King there in our newsroom. We expect to learn more soon. Thanks, Grace. A large water leak shut down a major road in Lithonia this morning. Take a look at the scene here. This is drone video we shot from the scene where a large amount of water shut down Covington Highway at DeKalb Medical Parkway. We understand crews are still on site working that water main break. Police were on scene throughout the morning, directing folks away from that area. GDOT reporting this as a water main break. 11Alive traffic directed drivers to alternate routes all morning long. This midday, Tuskegee University's head basketball coach is considering legal action. This after being handcuffed on the court after his team's loss at Morehouse College. Take a look at this video provided to us by civil rights attorney Harry Daniels. In it, you can see an officer approach Benji Taylor and then put him in handcuffs right there. Taylor says he was concerned about a group of Morehouse football players who he said had tried to intimidate his team and its fans during Saturday night's game. He then asked officers to kick them out of the building after they intermingled with players during the post-game handshake. The coach was eventually removed from the court in cuffs and led back to the locker room. His attorney tells 11Alive they were attempting to humiliate and treat Taylor like a criminal for trying to de-escalate a situation. He was not charged with a crime and is now considering a civil lawsuit. We did reach out to Morehouse College to get its side. They have not responded back. The partial government shutdown drags on this Monday with the House deadlocked over a path forward. The funding at stake and how long the partial shutdown could last still to come. Plus, a new poll revealing why more Americans say they'd rather have a pet than a child.
All right, it's that one day of the year we rely on a rodent for prognostication of the weather. It is Groundhog Day, and Puxatawny Phil says 6 more weeks of winter. Bo's prediction, 6 more weeks of winter. Long story short, Bo is actually a lot more accurate than the groundhog in Pennsylvania. His accuracy about 80%. But what's even more accurate than that are meteorologists. And let me show you our temperature outlook for the month of February. It is the 2nd of February. And unfortunately, I know you're probably sick of the cold after January, but it does look like February could trend as a whole slightly cooler than average. With that being said, we will see warm spells. We will see cool spells. It looks like this week we're thawing out a little bit. Next week we may get even a little bit warmer. So a slight break from the frigid air we've been experiencing. But as a whole, we're not done with cold weather yet for the season. All right, big picture, what are we tracking this week? Well, number one, not as frigid of temperatures. We're still going to spend a lot of the afternoons at or below average, but highs in the 40s and 50s, that's a lot better than highs in the 20s and 30s like we had over the weekend. By late tomorrow, though, rain is back in the picture. I'm tracking a front coming in from our west. That will send some showers in our direction, but this time it will be all rain. Let me show you that. We've got clear skies over us on satellite and radar. Look at this moisture coming up from the four corners, also clouds over the central plains. We see this weather system shifting to the east overnight tonight, and then by tomorrow it's pulling in moisture off the Gulf. So by tomorrow evening, even though there's nothing on radar right now, we have an area of rain, maybe a stray embedded thunderstorm across the Gulf Coast there near Louisiana, but that will send some rain showers in our direction Tuesday through early Wednesday. No sharp, deep cold air coming in behind that, but that will be our next weather system we're tracking. Let's look a little closer, hour by hour on the forecast track. Bright sunshine this afternoon. It's cooler than average, but it's going to feel a whole lot nicer outside today than what it did over the weekend. There is still a bit of a light breeze coming in from the west, but temperatures in the upper 40s. That's about 5 degrees below average for this time of year. Some high-level clouds start to build in tonight. That means that tomorrow morning, most of us are just at or below the freezing mark to start you off on Tuesday. A lot of clouds around, but dry for the first half of the day through the afternoon. It'll be in the evening, though, we track the rain coming in from the north and west. This is 4:30 on Forecast Track Tuesday, showing some of those showers in northwest Georgia. As they move into the metro, I think we could have a pretty widespread sheet of rain moving in, or area of rain, but not a line of thunderstorms. So this is in that nuisance category of impact for our Tuesday, arriving in the evening, continuing overnight, and then by Wednesday morning, a lot of that moisture is heading out of our area. We're keeping a few showers in for Wednesday morning. I think much of your Wednesday, though, just still feels a bit damp outside, keeping the clouds and a slight chance of a sprinkle into the afternoon. So we are saying goodbye to the 30s. We're saying goodbye to the 40s eventually, and 50s on the way in with these rain chances middle of the week. We've got with a 50% chance late tomorrow for rain. A lot of this is coming through overnight when most of us are not on the roadways, but that early Wednesday morning commute could be briefly impacted by some of that rain, with a 40% chance still in the morning of some rain showers. Outside right now, 43 over Atlanta. Still colder up in Canton. It's 39 and 33 in Blairsville. Areas that had some icy spots this morning, you're going to see a lot more melting take place this afternoon as those temperatures head up into the upper 40s this afternoon. But areas in the shade, if you got several inches of snow over the weekend, could still see snow on the ground as we head into the overnight, into tomorrow morning, so more slick spots are going to be possible. Watch those temperatures up to 57 tomorrow, 53 on Wednesday, and then a little cool down behind that front down to 46, but back to the 50s for Friday. Here's the good thing, though. We just had 3 back-to-back weekends with winter weather in North Georgia. We had the snow this weekend, ice the previous weekend, snow in central Georgia the weekend before that. Well, this weekend looks dry Saturday and Sunday, and temperatures will be very seasonable outside. So it's not warm, but if you're trying to get in finally some New Year's resolution exercise or enjoy a Super Bowl party where you can be outside a little bit in the afternoon before the game, it looks dry both Saturday and Sunday in North Georgia. So temperatures will be in the mid-50s there for Super Bowl Sunday. For today, high in the 40s, 57 for tomorrow afternoon. 60 in Rome, 57 in Canton. Let me get your 7-day forecast. Temperature is going to be running in the 50s tomorrow with rain chances moving in late in the day, and we are looking dry and cool over the weekend.
We have an update for you this midday on some breaking news out of Arizona. Authorities now say that the home of Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie, is now a crime scene. Within the last few moments, authorities described the scene as, quote, suspicious in nature and suspicious enough for them to feel a crime was committed there. 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie was last seen Saturday night in her home outside Tucson. Since then, search and rescue teams went out looking for her, but according to the local sheriff, searches came up empty. He then put out a call to the public for help finding her.
So we make a plea to anyone who knows anything about this, who has seen something, heard something, to contact us. Call 911. We don't need another bad tragic ending. We need some help.
And hopefully they can get that help soon. The sheriff also said that the entire Guthrie family, including Savannah, has been cooperative in working with law enforcement. Let's take a live look right now at the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. The government under a partial shutdown right now, and it is now up to the House to pass a funding bill to get it reopened. But with tensions still running high from the events in Minneapolis, Democrats say how long that takes depends on reforms to immigration enforcement. NBC's Alice Barr has more from Washington.
House members returned to an icy Washington today looking to unfreeze funding for large chunks of the government, now in a partial shutdown. House Speaker Mike Johnson predicting passage by tomorrow of a Senate-passed package that fully funds most of the government while splitting off the Department of Homeland Security.
I'm confident that we'll do it at least by Tuesday.
Congress then has 2 weeks to negotiate the immigration enforcement reforms Democrats are demanding, including ending roving ICE patrols and body cameras on all federal immigration officers. Speaker Johnson citing President Trump's border czar.
I think even Tom Homan has acknowledged both of those things are acceptable and what he was intending to do already. So I think we're on the path to get agreement.
The top Democrat in the House underscoring that path must lead to dramatic reform.
The administration can't just talk the talk. They need to walk the walk.
Some leading Democrats urging a no vote on even the short-term package, pressing to repeal a huge spike in funding ICE secured under last year's so-called Big Beautiful Bill.
I just don't see how in good conscience Democrats can vote for continuing ICE funding when they're killing American citizens.
That amid weekend vigils in Minneapolis for 2 people killed by federal immigration officers, Renee Good.
It's been very, very difficult.
And ICU nurse Alex Preddy.
He lived to help others, and that's what he did. And we were so fortunate to know him and have him as a friend.
Reminders of what's at stake as lawmakers look for agreement to reopen the government with key reforms. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Now, if the two parties cannot agree on immigration enforcement reforms over the next 2 weeks, funding could be at risk for FEMA, the TSA, and the Coast Guard, all under the Department of Homeland Security. A family member of President John F. Kennedy is now firing back against President Donald Trump's proposal to close the Kennedy Center for 2 years. The president says the closure is for renovations. However, JFK's niece, Maria Shriver, argues the closure is tied to entertainers canceling appearances since Mr. Trump put his name on the building. If approved by the center's board, the Kennedy Center would close on July 4th. Nearly half of Americans now say they would rather have a pet than a child. With the cost of raising kids up 25% and paychecks barely moving, are kids still affordable? Stay with us. We'll break down the numbers for you next. Welcome back. According to a recent poll, nearly half of Americans prefer to have a pet over having a child, with the cost of raising kids in the last couple of years rising 25% to about $300,000, while earnings have risen just 3% in that time. Are kids still affordable for most Americans? That is the question. NBC's Marquise Francis tries to answer it.
We love you, Grandma.
A growing number of young Americans are choosing to have pets over children.
Hey, baby. You slept the day away.
They're my family. They're my children.
As the fertility rate in the U.S. in 2024 hit a record low amid fears of economic instability, some Americans are stepping outside the box with their family makeup.
My mom calls my dogs her grandchildren.
Raven McGregor, who lives in Atlanta, runs a popular Instagram page with her two bulldogs, Sunny and Zoe.
They are a part of the family, and we don't look at it as if they are pets. They are truly like little kids with 4 legs.
For her, there is no difference between a furry kid and a human one. And she's not alone. 43% of Americans say they prefer to have a pet as their kid over human children, according to a recent Harris poll.
It was simple math right now. I'm already stretched thin, so adding that child, adding that burden is a barrier for me.
On TikTok, West Virginia native Sarah Morris showcases life with her fiance and their 2 cats, Sunday and Banana. But she says even the finite number of brand partnerships she gets in addition to her 9-to-5 as a flight attendant leaves little left over.
When people feel secure, they make long-term plans. When times of instability, they have to adapt. And adapting for us right now looks like shifting what the meaning of family looks like.
Do you want to explain to people why you're in trouble? Yeah. 17 of them, buddy.
I have 4 cats and I have 4 kids. And which one do you think is easier to take care of?
Janie Budnick is the cat, or chief of all things, for 4-legged kids, St. Louis's largest staff in-home pet care service. Budnick has seen the family dynamic between people with pets shift in the last 30 years.
Really, it's that shift of they are treated as children. If you do some of the comparison between what a healthy pet, what the expenses are during a year versus a healthy child, I mean, you can be 10 times plus.
A Brookings study from 2022 found that it costs about $300,000 to raise a child in the U.S. from birth through age 17, which includes basics like housing, food, clothing, and education. By comparison, pet costs were roughly $27,000 over 18 years.
What would be your advice to someone who doesn't know if an actual human kid or a pet kid is best for them?
If anyone has a hesitation about having a human child, please do not. You have to really be confident in yourself that that's the path that you want to take to bring a human into this world.
Right. Now, we are following an important recall alert for you this midday. Why Not Natural is recalling bottles of its organic moringa green superfood capsules. The voluntary recall is due to potential salmonella contamination. So far, there are no reported illnesses. New today, Target has a new CEO. Michael Fidelke is taking the reins. He has years of experience with the company dating back to an internship in 2003. He begins his new job as Target faces a sales slump and competition from the likes of Walmart and Amazon. Target's hometown headquarters of Minneapolis is also in turmoil due to an immigration crackdown. Fidelke's turnaround plan includes new brands and a spruce up for stores. Stay with us, Melissa. We'll have a final look at your forecast straight ahead.
Oh, isn't it nice to not see any chance of winter weather on this forecast and afternoons that are in the 40s and 50s? I think it's wonderful. We'll keep it going through next weekend and even into next week, I think, but we are tracking some